Let's do this. I
Let's
saw you.
do
You were getting ready to say something. And
this.
you hesitated. You
Yeah,
hesitated.
I hesitated there. Cinema episode number 80, the first of the year in our Davidson 2023. Man, we're back after a nice little hiatus.
Yeah.
I am one of
The
your
break.
hosts, Old Gravy. I got salt and pepper over there.
No, I want to be called the Greyhound.
I'm sorry, you're
No.
the Greyhound. You're Greyhound.
Tiny little
Looking
whimper.
looking whiter in the beard by the day. Oh, Miracle on 34th Street himself, Douglas Davidson.
Could I be Santa the movie, Douglas Davidson? I liked that version. I forget why. I think because of Arthur Moore. But I've
Uh-huh.
had the kids all day today, so that explains this. And I have them for 2 more full days
Yeah,
as Crystal has meetings. It's only going to get whiter. I am just
it's,
going to start going ho, ho, ho around the
it's
house.
it's only gonna get whiter, and but you're looking good in it, sir. What have you been since we took our little January hiatus? How you been?
Overwhelmed. Like it's an abundance of riches, but still overwhelmed. Just because our break was timed perfectly because I had to, as the president of the NCFCA, sort of oversee and manage the voting and the processing and all of that stuff, and then getting us ready for 2023. That combined with not officially covering Sundance because they rejected my ass. Apparently, there were too many people trying to cover remotely. They only have but so many remote passes
Mm.
because covering remotely, it's fucking remote. You're telling me you're limiting links? What? Anyway, but I still ended up covering Sundance and Slam Dance because they were publicists that were like, yes, we will let you screen our films.
There you
Please
go.
cover them. And I went, sweet. So I got to watch a couple of Sundance and Slam Dance films, some interesting movies of which I won't get into now. But you can check them out at EOM. And now I'm in the middle of the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, which I've watched 2 documentaries so far that I will be talking about shortly, and already preparing for South by Southwest because people have started emailing going, hey, we've got links available. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm booked till the end of this month. I am every available day for me to watch something and then write something. I am booked except for the morning that I have to get up and go to the dentist because if I have to get up at 6 in the morning to be able to get to the dentist, like eat breakfast and then get to the dentist by 8 a.m., I'm not working that night.
There
It's
you
just not.
go.
I've got the kids all day after that. No, fuck that. I'm going to bed.
The life and times of
Yeah.
Douglas Davidson.
Yeah. Well, you get up, you take care of the kids, you watch something, you write something, and repeat.
And repeat. Yep.
Yeah. But it's good. It's a good problem to have to be busy.
Yes. Being
Yeah.
busy is usually a good thing, some sign of success, usually.
Or
Or
overly
overstretching
stretching.
one's means.
Like I'm
Uh,
I'm looking at the Spirit Award nominees and it's like, why couldn't I watch these sooner?
yeah, I
So
get those emails and I'm like, glad I backed out of Film Independent. I don't need
I
that shit.
I decided to give it one more go and then we'll see. We'll see.
There you go. Yeah, I dipped out last year. I was like, I'm good here. And then yeah,
Now
haven't
you're applying to other groups where you'll have to do even more.
well, the odds of getting into said other groups incredibly low. Are you ready to you ready
Well,
to
how
get
you
that?
been? How you do? How you
Oh yeah,
doing?
man, just living for the city, writing, doing stuff for bite-sized folks. Like you
Which
said,
is awesome.
yeah, that
How
is.
many have you done so far?
I don't know. I don't keep count of these things. They do a lot over there at bite size. Yeah,
Well, when you're only doing it in chunks, I guess it's a
when
little easier.
you're only doing chunks, it's a little easier. Just a lot of little things is what they're doing. Thank you for reminding me.
Bite-sized
I
things? Would
I
you
have
would you
some.
say that they're doing a lot of little bite-sized things?
I might say some bite sized things happen over there. Bite sized breakdowns. Go ahead and check out all their reviews and whatnot and shenanigans and nonsense. As you brought up, I am indeed. I was putting things together for the vast majority of January to apply to various things. Those things are sent off. It is what it is now.
I would
Uh,
like to say, by the way, for those people that thought I was being snide with my jokes, I was making jokes about bite size, but writing a capsule review, having it be clear as well as concise, hard as hell. It is
yeah,
hard as hell.
especially in the way they want it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a whole ass thing over there, bite size. Plenty of good shit going on over there. And that's it, man. Just writing and getting stuff ready for my send offs. Those send offs have been sent offs, so
And now you're getting ready for a D&D campaign.
and now I'm getting ready for you to host your first D&D campaign, and
Wait.
Lord knows I can't wait for it.
Wait. I don't know how to dungeon master at
Uh,
all. Like any
luckily,
variety. I'm the most vanilla. Wait, you're talking about the
mhm,
game.
mhm.
Shit. Right.
Uh, you
Um
might be a dragon
awkward.
master though.
What was that?
You might be a dragon master though. You might not dungeon master, but you could be dragon master.
Well, let's put
Dragon
it this
master
way.
double
No
fee.
one would ever describe my wife as a dragon, so yes.
You are the last dragon master. Uh, welcome back to the show, everybody. It's 2023. Oh,
If
we're
I'd
going
had
to talk
half my
about
wits about me, I would have started singing "The Night Begins to Shine," but nobody can sing it better than BER.
uh,
Anyway,
we are going to talk later on about our underappreciated moves in
mhm.
2022, which will wrap the bow on that year before we
Yep,
look forward to what it is we have in front of us. But before we do that, sir, you want to run through a couple movies you've seen recently?
yep. I have got. Let's see. Yeah, just two that I'm going to talk about. Primarily because ease, but also I just recently watched them, and they were fascinating. For the Santa Barbara International Film Festival, I watched two documentaries. The first one is actually from Israel, even though it takes place primarily in the United States, but it's a documentary called The Baby Daddy. It's co-directed by Yair Simerman and Adi Rabinovich, excuse me. And it's a story about, are you familiar with the Sperminator?
Nick Cannon?
Crystal also made that joke
Yeah.
when I turned in my review.
Good job, Chris. I knew that was a woman of exquisite tastes. No, I'm not familiar with this.
The Sperminator is the nickname given to a gentleman by the name of Ari Nigel. He is a professor of mathematics at a community college in Kingsborough, New York. He spends his time donating his sperm. Now, to be clear, when I say this, he is not like an anonymous donor. Sometime many years ago, he came across a Craigslist ad. Someone was looking for a donation. And for whatever reason, he decided to say yes. And now he has more than 100 children.
There you go. Boy, oh boy.
And this documentary explores some of it. Now, for me, I felt as though it doesn't really explore why Ari does what he does. And perhaps some of that could have been because of the national coverage and in some cases international coverage that Ari has gotten, to the point where he's not exactly legally allowed to keep doing this in some countries.
How have you
But
managed to donate so much of them precious bodily fluids that the country's like, you know what, we're good here, sir.
it explores all kinds of things, and certainly what I found interesting was what came from his eldest son, Tyler. He was, I think, previously married. It's a little unclear if they were just partners or if they were married, but he does have three children by this one woman, in a more traditional fashion. But we hear from Tyler a lot. The two of them are very close and they spend time together, about how Ari might be doing this for the wrong reason. So it's not really explored whether this is him being a mensch in the Jewish community because he is Jewish. He's formerly of the Orthodox community. If he's doing to be a mensch, a good person, doing something that helps others out of a sense of honor, responsibility to community, or if this is compulsion, if this is addiction. It doesn't really get into that as deeply as I would have preferred personally, because there's an opportunity here to really get into why is this person doing it, but it keeps a distance from some of that. It's still interesting and entertaining, and you really do get a sense, though, that the women who he is helping, or at least the individuals capable of getting pregnant and giving birth, they are at least grateful for that help. Now, of course, we do find out there are five women suing him for child support because there's no contract, no nothing, no whatever. So he's definitely not thinking things through. But when you see the looks on the women's faces, when you see them playing with their children, there's some joy there. So it's a very kind of complicated and
No joy in
interesting.
his
Please
bank
don't
account.
die. What was that?
I said no joy in his bank account.
None, actually. They make that very clear. And I don't want to get into the whole documentary. The other one, though, that I in particular found far more personal to me. Certainly, I'm in the Jewish community, but Jenny McKenzie's new documentary, The Right to Read, it's produced by LeVar Entertainment, so it's LeVar Burton, but it's a documentary about an NAACP activist, a basically at the time of this start, I think a first year teacher, and then a bunch of families that are trying to figure out the best way to educate their kids because the literacy in a number of states is way below proficiency. So you
Mhm.
might have third graders that can't read at the third grade level. And when you break it out by demographics, it just gets lower and lower the further when you start reading across. And the work that they're trying to do to shift the way that people approach education and specifically reading, because if we can improve literacy, we can therefore improve the population in terms of their ability to function, their ability to identify, to analyze, to engage with material. Anybody can go on social media right now and find somebody that just didn't engage with the material, like say someone by the name of Shmem Shamiro, who watched an episode of The Last of Us and was like, there's nothing here. And he watched 5 seconds and then turned it off, or watched Glass Onion and went, why is this movie trying to confuse me with things? It does.
Man,
Why is it so mysterious?
there's no worse feeling in the world than waking up. I mean, I'm on the record as not liking Glass Onion.
Mm-hmm.
There's no worse feeling than waking up and Ben Shapiro being like, Glass Onion is whack. And I'm like, oh no, I've made a terrible mistake.
No, 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 no. You came at it with a critical eye. He came out with it not understanding what a murder mystery is.
Yes.
And he's an idiot who doesn't actually know anything about movies. But The Right to Read is fascinating. It's really interesting. I'll have reviews for both of these movies coming very soon to Elements of Madness. There you go.
Right on. I theatrically have watched a couple things. Missing is a good joint, man. Directed by Nicholas D. Johnson and Will Merrick. It is about a young girl whose mom and mom's new boyfriend are going out on a trip. Of course, she takes an opportunity to party it up. She is there to pick them up at the airport after the trip to one of the tropical type joints, and they do not show up. And it becomes this entire thriller, I guess is the best way to call it, of what happened to mom, how can I find mom, and I guess the boyfriend back.
Yeah, it's part of the
It's
screen life is I think what they call it
yes,
subgenre.
screen life is the name that they've given to the subgenre, which okay, fine, yeah, I'll take that. It is the spiritual successor, the cousin, if you will, to was that 2019's I think Searching with John Cho, dude who's searching for his missing daughter using all form of technology that there is that he has at his disposal. These two were editors on Searching, and then they made Missing much in that same way of everything you see is through the camera of this young girl's MacBook, played by Storm Reed. I think she's the young girl from Wrinkle in Time when it came out a couple years ago.
And the Suicide Squad.
And was she in the Suicide Squad?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's
Wait, which
what's
one?
his name?
The
Bloodshot?
Suicide Squad or Suicide Squad?
The Suicide Squad. She's the daughter.
Of Idris Elba?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, there you go. You learn something every day. Yeah, yeah. So it's you see everything through the camera of her MacBook, and you see how she manipulates social media, manipulates the internet, manipulates people's lazy passwords due to ease of access in order to find all sorts of certain things. Everything that is placed on that screen is a clue to something. And what it leads to is one of, I think, by far it's the most entertaining movie I've seen this year. Like it's just you go on a ride. You just lose yourself on going the ride. It's only 111 minutes, so it's not too long. The premise doesn't wear thin, and then they drop just the right amount of twists and turns throughout to keep you engaged and interested, man. So it's missing is it's pretty damn dope. if you get a chance to see it. I'm already looking forward to rewatching that joint.
So do you think if they make a third film in this series that it'll be found with a question mark? Because
Finding. You gotta have that
finding,
ing in there at the end of it.
gotcha.
Finding. There it is.
Searching, missing, finding.
Listen, and if they do that, all bullshit aside, I would be all for it. And that will make for one very interesting thematic trilogy. Or not even, I guess thematic. Yeah. A person searching for something. Yeah.
Yeah. No. It'd be someone who's missing. No, wait. It's someone who's finding. Wait. Sorry. I haven't seen any of them, but I've heard good things about Searching.
Yeah, Searching is, I caught it just a little bit before Missing. And I wish I had seen it at the time, because now that Missing has come out, like, and there's other movies that have taken some sort of Happy Death Day, did it twice now. I think it's Happy Death.
No. Wasn't it like Unfriended?
Yes, Unfriended. Yes, wrong. Mediocre horror joint. Yeah, it was Unfriended.
Oh damn!
Also,
I've got Happy Death Day sitting right over there from Netflix. I've been waiting to watch that.
It's been on TNT, or it was like at the very end of last year, so we watched it a lot at work. Yeah, so it's not like a brand new concept, but I wish I would have caught it when it was a little bit fresher with Searching, but still well done with Missing. I also saw Infinity Pool, man. Those damn Cronenbergs back at it again. This one being the junior of the two, Brandon Cronenberg, his follow-up to 2020's outstanding movie, Possessor. This one stars Alexander Skarsgård, Mia Goth, Thomas Crestman for like 2 scenes. You might know him as Baron von Strucker from Avengers Age of Ultron at the very beginning. Yes, we will not surrender. I'm going to surrender. That character. It's about a couple, a struggling writer and his wife, who was married to a publisher, who are having a little bit of a resort holiday while he's trying to find some inspiration for his next book. They meet and friend another couple, as you sometimes do on these vacations, and they lead them to a world of wildness. There's vehicular accidents that leads to a fatality, and that is the beginning of the unraveling of the entire story. And what it leads to is just hedonism, depravity, desperation, and wildness. Unfortunately, it's okay at best to me. I feel like Cronenberg was trying to skate by more on the vibe than he was telling an actual story. Like the hedonism is presented to you very well. Nice montages. The way he chooses to shoot, the drug-fueled craze that's going on is all very pretty to look at. But at the end of the day, why Mia Goth and the people she's running with are doing what they're doing outside of, we're rich and we're away for a weekend at a resort. It's kind of weak, nebulous. And why they choose to befriend these people and do these. There's no real explanation behind it. So yeah, there's that. Like there's their clear theme to me in Possessor. There is no real clear theme here besides human desensitivity to death.
Do you know if you saw the R-rated version or the NC-17 version?
All they're showing in theaters is the R-rated version, from what I've heard. I think this was a Sundance.
It was. It premiered there.
So
and there they showed the NC-17 version.
Yeah. So I'm assuming it's probably just more of the hedonism that you get.
I do know that there is more of frontal nudity from Skarsgård.
Yeah, get that wang out there, Skarsgård.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. Friend of the show, Hunter Heilman, was apparently frustrated.
He's like,
I don't know if his frustration was legitimate or tongue-in-cheek, no pun intended with the phrase tongue-in-cheek. But the fact that they're not even showing it theatrically at NC-17 is fascinating, because as far as I know, with Possessor, you could really only get it as the uncut version, unless you went, at least in the US. I think outside the US, the home release.
You mean you're talking about the release is not theatrical?
Yes. Yeah.
I'm assuming that when the release for Infinity Pool comes out, you will get that NC-17 cut.
Exactly. So what they strange they wouldn't.
But what they showed of Possessor in theaters was the R-rated cut.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is that it seems like they're doing that same thing again. And if you're going to put it out on home video, and they screened it at Sundance in the NC-17. Why wouldn't they do at least a few theatrical that way? That's
Yeah.
I realize it's a financial thing, but you're going to get some people that want to see that full version. And joking aside, has less to do with what parts of a person's body you get to see or
Yeah.
how much violence. It's more about that really gives you the full picture of what Cronenberg's going for.
Yeah.
And along those same lines, because I know that at least with Possessor, it's just more graphic violence.
Hmm.
In that one, yeah, exactly. Like it's surprising how much I love Possessor. I got to do the home release review when Welgo picked it up. I think Neon's distributing this one,
It's
so
neon.
Welgo's
Yeah, they're
probably not.
both neon joints.
There you go.
Uh,
So I guess we'll find out if Welgo does the home release for this. But I loved Possessor. Do you think someone that can, even if they're uneasy or queasy with Possessor, do you think someone could handle Infinity Pool,
yeah,
or are
yeah, yeah,
they?
yeah, yeah, yeah. There's not, strangely enough, and I said this in my review, there's not a whole lot of body horror in this movie. He leans more into, like I said earlier, the hedonism
Okay.
and the depravity between the characters more than he does. Like there's maybe like two scenes where you get any kind of body horror. I know one that sticks to mind is like a guy being stabbed, and you see like a good bit of stabby, stabby, stabby. And I want to say that there might be like one more thing, but other than that, as far as the Cronenberg of it all, it's fairly
Mhm.
tame.
Interesting.
It's nowhere near what you get in Possessor. Like that whole scene with Sean Bean is that far tops anything you'll see in Infinity Pool. That 4K for Possessor has been sitting in my Amazon wish list for quite some time. I just can't pull the trigger on it, but I
I,
might soon.
I
I
haven't watched it, but yeah, it went on sale. I snagged that thing.
Yeah, 4K.
Hmm. I
Smart
haven't
man,
watched it yet, but I snagged it when it got super cheap. You
smart
have
man.
to be in a right mental mood for Possessor, and
Yeah,
I
it's not like
haven't quite had that.
it's a Tuesday night. Let me just fire a Possessor real quick. That doesn't happen
I'm
too
feeling cute
often.
and cuddly. Let's oh god.
Hey, baby, it's date night. It's Valentine's Day. Let's pull out Possessor. All right, and the third movie that I watched, man, is one that just came out, just hit theaters, Knock at the Cabin. The new joint from our boy M. Night Shy. I am all about this movie, man. Everyone was saying old is. They pull out their binoculars, like, is that M. Night on the comeback with old? Which I still haven't seen. Which I did not want to watch after was that Glass?
Yes.
Yeah, after Glass. And Old came out, and people are like, no, that can't be him on the horizon. Not gonna cap, my man is back in full form. I loved every bit of this movie, man. It's about a small nuclear family, two dads, husbands, and their adopted daughter, who are interrupted with their nice little vacation retreat by these four interlopers, we'll call them, who force upon them those damn interlopers who force upon them an impossible decision to make to avoid the oncoming apocalypse of the world. It's almost a one setting movie. There's a couple of flashbacks here and there, but for the most part, 95% of this movie is just them in this cabin. The seven people total really that are in this film. It's Dave Bautista frontline in this joint
Mhm.
as the person that is heading these intruders and giving them their instructions, telling them what to do. He's great. He is great. He has such a small, contained internal performance for such a big man. Like
Mhm.
he's physical presence, but like he doesn't even use it for menace. It's just like everything. His voice never gets above a whisper all that much. He's just in the zone. And I think Groff, great. Ben Aldridge is what the anchors this whole movie. Like he's a wild man in this flick. I loved it. M. Night's direction is odd ass choices that just make it like, why did he do this? And a lot of extreme ass close ups. You're in people's shit a lot in this movie. And then in a weird way of like, I'm not sure why you are so extremely close up on these people, but it's a lot of extreme close ups, a lot of heavy breathing all throughout this movie, which is weird. But
Interesting.
in 100 minutes, man, it's paced beautifully,
Mhm.
and it's one of those. It's successful at putting yourself into the character's shoes of what choices and decisions would I make. That's what it's really good at. Oh shit, I don't know what I would do in this situation, or I don't know who I would believe in this situation. Damn good movie, Knock at the Cabin.
Right on. Right on. I have not seen it. I could not attend the screening, but what I quickly checked for those that have not seen Old, it is reportedly streaming on Hulu. So
There
if you
is.
have a Hulu account, you can go check that out. I liked the movie up until the adaptation got toyed with.
And
It
apparently he
is,
does toy with the adaptation of Knock on the Cabin. But apparently the ending that he has is a little bit different from the ending of the book. And I've heard both for better and for worse.
from what I understand, the ending that he applies to Knock at the Cabin lines up with a theme that makes sense for the types of stories he tells, whereas the ending of the novel, was it called? Cabin at the End of the World, something like that.
Far, far better title than Knock at the Cabin.
but but that ending for what the author was trying to do falls in line there. And I get where they do that. With Old, I haven't read the novel that inspired Knock. I haven't read the graphic novel, the French graphic novel that inspired Old. But I can tell you the moment where Old lost me and frustrated me. And it was amazing up until that moment. And I won't say until you see it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. There you go. There you go. This is another movie that you really kind of need to be in the mood for because it is bleak as fuck and dour, and he just keeps pressing you more and more and more. It's a good flick, man. Check that out. I was eyeballing for you at the screening. Sadly, did not see you though.
No, no, sorry. Next screening I will attend is next Monday.
Next screening I will
And
attend is
and I'm
also
saying
next
it not
Monday.
because I'm trying to emphasize it, because I'm stretching. I just wanted to be
I
clear.
feel
Just
like
because I
you
was
were
stretching.
doing a little bit of column A and B.
No, no, that was straight up stretching. My
Uh,
whole right arm is so jacked up.
it's
Anyway,
old man syndrome. All right, are you ready to get into the why we are here today, sir?
to give us both a break, socialize a little bit, see each other's delightful faces. Well, your face is delightful, mine is fuzzy. That's
As
why
it
we're
always
here.
is. And also to talk movies. And
Oh,
like I said
right.
up top, we are talking about
Okay.
three of our
Before
underappreciated.
we get into that, and
Oh
I know we're
boy.
going to talk about anticipated next episode, but I just want to drop this in because I forgot. And if James Gunn makes the Authority movie, holy fucking shit, I can't wait for it.
World ain't ready.
It's not. Um, what I desperately want won't fucking happen. Desperately want won't happen. Apollo and Midnighter, Ben Affleck and Cavill.
And Matt
That would
Damon. Oh,
be
okay.
that
Yes.
would be beautiful.
We confused so many general moviegoers. Yeah,
I
I
mean,
would.
those characters are based on those characters,
That's
so
true. That
why
is
not?
very
It's
true.
a multiverse.
I can't see.
They're genetically modified anyway. Who do you think they would have modified them from?
I can't see a blonde Henry Cavill, and I do need my Apollo blonde,
He's gone platinum for Witcher.
and it looks terrible.
Yeah, I don't care.
And listen, the only person with that white hair that could have played the Witcher, is Ric Flair. But that's neither here nor there. Maybe Henry Cavill was the better choice.
I just want two things out of that movie: is whoever plays Midnighter to do the whole I've seen every move you're going to make.
Mm-hmm.
I can see every decision you're going to make. This fight is over before it begins. Like, I want that full monologue that I just butchered. I want that.
Yep.
And then and I know it's not going to happen, but it's my favorite fucking line from any Authority story I've ever read. It's from the first arc, but Midnighter goes to attack someone and the dude goes, "Where'd you come from?" And Midnighter just quips, "Daddy did a bad thing to mommy," and 9 months later. Like, I fucking want that so bad.
Yes.
It would be my Imperious Rex moment. Like, sitting in the theater with you were behind me and you heard Imperious Rex and I heard you go, yeah! And that would be it. That would be it. I just need to hear Daddy did a bad thing to mommy, and 9 months later, and then I'm done.
In retrospect,
five stars.
I have thoughts about that Imperious Rex line in retrospect.
6 stars.
Six out of five is what he'll be giving the authority if
40
he gets the.
million. 50. No, it's DC. 52 stars. There you go.
Oh, perfect sense. Perfect sense. I like it. I like it. The
Anyway.
rebirth of stars. All right, then let's get into it, sir. Do you want to have your
Yeah.
usual litany of nonsense of
Uh
possible movies, or do you just
I,
want
I
to dive right into it?
I would only look at my list of whatever you said movies. There are movies that are on my list that haven't gotten wide release, and I'm looking forward to them, like The Killer, which I think got picked up by Wellgo and will be coming out sometime this year. It's an adaptation of a manga, from what I understand. It's fucking badass. It's John Wick, except without having John Wick get the shit kicked out of him every 5 minutes. You've held your hand up.
Yes. Wait a minute. Before you finish that sentence,
Sure.
what are you talking about right now?
Oh, no. I saw a movie last year called The Killer. Like, this episode is the movies that didn't make it in our top tens, right? The underrated, the movies that what do you think we're talking about right now?
I that's what I thought we were talking about, but then you
Yeah.
mentioned The Killer.
Yes, which I saw last year and is
Fincher's The Killer? Because there's a movie coming out this year called The Killer, based on a French graphic novel.
Choi John Hoon directed by.
No, Fincher is directing the one that comes
Oh
out
yeah,
this
no,
year.
different movie.
So there's
Different movie.
two movies called The Killer, both based on the visual medium properties. There
Yes.
will be. All right,
Yes.
then. Okay, I just wanted to make sure. I was like, all right.
No. I haven't seen a Fincher movie and left you out of it.
Okay, well, I would be a little bit upset, sir.
That's what I'm saying. I would not. No.
All right, right on. Sorry, please continue.
No. Absolutely. No, I get that. I get that. You wait. I get that totally and completely.
Don't show your
But
cards.
there's a movie like The Killer, which I can't wait for other people to see. I saw it at a festival. It's on my list, but et cetera, et cetera. Whereas stuff like Goodbye Don Glees, the Dragon Ball movie, Superhero, Blood Relatives, which is streaming on Shudder, The Atom Project, surprisingly enough, ended up on my list. That's on Netflix. 18 and a
Yeah.
half is an indie movie that I really dug. Studio 666. The Fablemans. I didn't think it would resonate with me the way that it did, but the more I sat with it, the more I really dug it. And
Yeah.
that wasn't in my top 10 either. I will say though that I wish I'd seen Decision to Leave sooner. There would have been some different choices on my ballots if I'd seen it sooner for the various groups. Fucking love that movie. It comes out on home video on the 14th. I will have a free night on the 15th, and I probably won't be working so that I can sit Crystal down to try to watch it. But those were films that didn't make it to like the three that I wanted to talk about.
Right on.
And so I'm going to discuss them in terms of their ranking on my favorites list. Now, keep in mind, my favorite films of 2022 have 63 films on them, and I watched probably over 300 movies that would be able to land on this. Mm-hmm. The first one I'm going to mention is available for streaming now through like Showtime. I think you can purchase it. Comes out on home video in April. Greg Matola's Confess Fletch. I feel like not enough people saw this movie. It is fucking hilarious. And as someone who read the books, who read the Fletch books, John Hamm was Fletch. Like it was so perfect. I know a lot of people, and I certainly got interested in the Fletch books because of Chevy Chase.
Mm-hmm.
But Fletch was not Chevy Chase. Chevy Chase was doing Chevy Chase shit as Fletch.
Yep.
But John Hamm is doing Fletch, and it is so good. It is so hilarious. And this film has Lorenza Izzo, Kyle MacLachlan, Roy Wood Jr., Marcia Gay Harden. John Slattery shows up for the equivalent of a cup of coffee, but the two of them are fucking great.
Hey.
Lucy Punch is in there. What's her name? Aiden Mayeri. Wow. Mayeri, she basically steals the fucking show as Roy Wood's second in command. The movie is hilarious. It's got a solid mystery. It's got the stuff you expect and a bunch of stuff you don't. And if for some reason you didn't give this film a chance, either you didn't hear about it, which there was basically no promotion by Paramount, which pissed me off because I loved this movie. That's why it's on this list.
Makes sense.
I had a great fucking time with it, and I can't wait to watch it again. I am bummed that as of right now, what I found out about the home release, it will not have bonus features. So until Paramount formally announces it and I get that confirmation, like, I'm bummed. I would love some behind the scenes. I would love some commentary, something to go with it. But fingers crossed, they are going to do another one. Apparently, the director Greg Matola is interested. And if John Hamm could show up and do it again, I fucking love it. So that's the first one I wanted to mention. Confess Fletch, again, give it a chance. You will have a delightful time.
Is that shit still renting for like $15.99?
I don't know. Legitimately haven't checked the price on it in a while, particularly because it's now, I think, on Showtime. I kept thinking I could stream it through where does Paramount? Yeah, Paramount Plus. I figured it
Paramount.
would be on Paramount Plus. It's not. It's on Showtime, and it's probably a licensing issue. And the only way you can stream it on Paramount is with the Showtime add-on. But they're about to combine those, so hopefully that'll go away.
There you
Because
go.
I'd be like, you know what? This has been great. This has been great. We'll get to the list later. I got to go watch Confess Fletch.
Right on, right on. Yeah, John Hamm finally, finally getting that comedic business. Like he's dabbled a whole lot in comedy. I think this is the I mean, 30 Rock for me, and I do believe because he's a friend of Tina Fey. He pops up in Kimmy Schmidt from time to time, from what I've heard. But it is good to
Quite
finally
significantly,
see
as I
him.
understand it.
There you go. It's good to see him finally just break out and go all in.
And what's great about it is it's comedic in the sense of situation and delivery. It's not he's being silly.
Right.
It's not
He's a straight man with the silly things happening around him.
sort of, yeah. It's the situational comedy in that I'm gonna do something bizarre. It's gonna seem awkward, it's gonna seem strange, it's gonna make you laugh, but he's not asking you to laugh. He's asking for a thing, and in the asking makes you laugh.
Right on, right. It's not, yeah, exactly not like Chevy, which is like, huh? See what I'm doing here? See what I'm doing here? See what I'm doing
Exactly.
here?
Exactly that.
Visual gag, funny names. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right. Boom, there you go.
Yep.
Man's career just kind of seemed aimless a little bit after Mad Men. Like he just couldn't quite figure out where to land. And every popped up, you're like, what the fuck is China Hand doing in this movie?
Except
Thinking of you,
you,
baby Trevor.
but he's fucking fantastic in Baby Driver. He's having a goddamn ball in Tag. Like I could go through his stuff. A-Team shows up literally to deliver like two or three lines, steals the whole fucking ending.
Watched it a week ago. Yeah.
It's so
And even if
good.
the
It's so
suffering
good. I wish they'd
commander
make another.
of A-Team,
Yeah.
I don't see why that flopped. I don't. It's so fun. Charlton Copley is just unhinged, and that's my favorite Charlton Copley.
They flew
Bradley
a
Cooper
tank.
is the face.
They flew a tank.
That's what everybody thinks about when they think of A-Team.
It's so good. Actually, I was watching a movie and there was a drone shot of a port. And all I could think of was, all right, misdirection. And who's going here? Where it's
Yep.
the whole end sequence.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, that
I
whole end
I
sequence
think
is great.
about way more than that.
All right, my first joint, nowhere near as fun. It's called Next Exit, directed by Molly Elfman. Did you check this joint out?
Yes. On my
Yeah,
list. On my list.
I underappreciated as all get out. Katie Parker, Rahul Kohli, Rose McIver, Karen Gillan. If you want to call it that, she pops up on a TV in a couple scenes. This is a world where ghosts are real. Front page news. So there is a controversial new medical procedure that lets people peacefully kill themselves so they can commune with these ghosts. And our two people, Katie Parker, Rahul Kohli, are on a road trip due to circumstances. It's like one has the money for a rental, but he doesn't have the ID, and she's got the ID but not the money. So they're kind of paired together, this odd couple road trip. Two people who could not be more different are taking this quest together for the same thing, and they learn about each other. They kind of reevaluate things the closer they get to their end goal of killing themselves to be able to commune. And it is at times terribly funny, at times heartbreaking, heart wrenching. I think The performances, especially by Coley and Katie Parker, are outstanding. Knocked it out of this park. I think this is one of the best movies that came out last year that I did not hear a single person talk about. Now, I'm in a bubble.
Yeah.
Everybody's in their
Oh
kind of
yeah.
bubbles. I think everybody knows where my bubble lies on Twitter. But outside of that, I just never really hear a whole lot of people talking about Next Exit. And it just makes you want to check out what else Molly Elfman has done as a director. Man, had I not done the 100 best sci-fi list before I seen this definitely would have been way high up on that list.
I think this is her feature length debut.
Yeah, I'm looking at everything as some shorts. She got close. Oh no, this was a whole bunch of this is a anthology. Looks like here, but yeah, this looks like this is her first big girl movie, and she knocked it right the fuck out of the park.
Absolutely does. And actually, in talking about it, I realized it was not on my favorites list, and it was supposed to be. Because the way that I use Letterboxd, if it's going to end up on my favorites list, I give it the heart. I quote like it. That's my process.
Makes sense.
And I realized, and I was like, wait, why isn't it on my list? I'm pretty sure because I really enjoyed it and I wanted to do the home release. I forget if it's on disc now or not, but I went looking for it. It wasn't on there. So thank you. It is now on the list where it fucking belongs.
It looks like we gave it the exact same rating, as a matter of fact. We both gave it a 4-star rating out of 5. It is
solid film.
It's one of those, I think it came with, whoever distributed this movie. They give us a slate at the end of the year for award season. I was like, okay, 103 minutes. I can tolerate that. And I was gifted with a very beautiful movie in Next Exit.
Right on, right on. I was very fortunate. I think it was its premiere.
You were there. You sat next to Raul Coley.
No, but I would have fucking loved to. That man is fucking hilarious on TikTok.
Yes.
And he takes no shit from anybody on social media. I fucking love it. And also he is fantastic in this movie. There's one scene in particular between the two of them.
Is it outside the bar?
Yeah. Yep. And it's you can see you expect the argument that happens to happen, but it's in the way that it is shaped and delivered by both of them, where you can see their physicality shift to represent what's going on. It's so fucking good. And it hits you even harder when you recognize that.
So good.
So I yes, great fucking choice.
Thank you, sir. Your second
is tonally in a complete goddamn different direction. This film is incidentally part of a series that I had heard about but had not experienced. This film is number 37 on my list. It is directed by Lee Sang-yong and stars my favorite man, Don Lee. It is The Roundup. It is the sequel to The Outlaws. This film. The Don Lee plays a member of a Korean police force. He sort of leads this unit. And in the first film, it's literally about trying to gather up. I know the Roundup sounds like I'm describing the first movie, but they're literally trying to round up these dudes. The second film, in trying to extradite someone from their country to, I forget which other neighboring country, they discover that there's a serial killer on the loose and maybe in their country. And this is where Don Lee, he hits a guy so hard, goes through a windshield. The guy's face goes straight through a windshield. Like, you don't fuck with this version of Don Lee. But what's great about this, and certainly watching movies like this, I have my issues with Mel Gibson, but Lethal Weapon and other propaganda type programming, your NCIS, your Castle, The Rookie, whatever. But the idea that, the police are there to catch the bad guys, blah, blah, blah. Don Lee gives a performance where you actually, yes, he bends the law, sometimes someone's arm at the same time, but it's one of those, I'm only doing it because I'm protecting every, like, you actually want to believe in this cop. And he's so charming and he's so fucking funny. And they use his physicality as part of the humor, the fact that he's so big.
Yeah.
And Don plays it so wonderfully. Reportedly, they have filmed 3 and 4 back to back, and 3 should be released this year. I watched The Outlaws on Tubi. I don't know where the roundup is available other than through like iTunes and stuff
Yeah.
for purchase. Highly recommend it. It's got some great action sequences. It is fucking hilarious, and it balances the mood of the vicious violence against against the ways in which a good action film will be funny at the same time.
Yeah.
So if you are not familiar with the roundup, it won't let you down. It's good fucking stuff.
That's one thing charming. Like, he's so charming in his way in Train to Busan
Mm-hmm.
that you're like, he's just immediately likable the moment you see him
Yes.
on screen. You're like, I want to see. And then it was shortly after I saw Train to Busan, I think, is when they announced, hey, he's going to be in Eternals. And I was like, oh, shit. And then he was severely underutilized, like a lot of other people in that movie were. But yeah, I need to check this out myself. I've already added it to my watch list. So yes, boom, done and done. And I will need to see what else of his I will be adding to my watch list later on. Oh, the good, the bad, and the weird. Not a fan. Good
I
call though.
tried watching that, but I've been thinking about going back and rewatching it because I've been doing more Jackie Chan, Sammo Hung, Michelle Yeoh movies lately. So I've been feeling like maybe The Good, the Bad, and the Weird was lost on me because there was something I was missing. And I'm
Uh,
about to watch Millionaires Express, a movie I also haven't seen with Sammo Hung and Cynthia Rothrock and
Rothrock. Yeah, a
a few other
girl.
big ones. That comes out on the 28th, so I'll be watching that pretty soon. But I've been thinking about going back and doing the weird. But
Yeah, yeah. I let a friend borrow it, and he was like, "Hey, do you want this back?" And I was like, "No, you can have that. That's that's yours now." My second joint, the outfit, man. Oh man, the outfit. I love this movie. Directed by Graham Moore, a dude who I was not familiar with, but it seems like this is his first fucking movie, and what a hell of a freshman
mhm.
debut. Mark Rylance, Zoe Deutsch, Johnny Flynn, Dylan O'Brien. Man, if you are unfamiliar with what this movie is about, is an unspecified time period that you want to put it about the 1930s, maybe, excuse me, 20s, 30s, somewhere in there, about a man who owns a tailor shop, that man being Mark Rylance, Zoe Deutsch being his one and only assistant, where he is a surreptitious courier for an organization, underground criminals called the Outfit. And one night at his tailor shop, some shit goes down. They go to hide out in his shop while he happens to be there. Um, and this is a movie told over the course of a night of what the outfit's up to, who they're beefing with, the French, and his part in all of this as they're sheltered for the most part.
Fucking Dylan O'Brien. God damn, does he
Right?
survive the movies he's in?
My first experience with Dylan O'Brien is a movie I walked out of. It is Where Are You?
Was it one of the Maze Runners?
No, I would have to walk in for that, and I did not walk in for that. It's a joint he did with Keaton, I think.
American Assassin.
Yeah,
I'm
because
looking at his looking at his list right now.
every 5 minutes, Keaton was like, "Don't do this," and then he goes and does the thing, and I'm like, "Okay, well, all right, that's developing this character." And then 5 minutes later, "Don't do this," and then he goes and does the thing, and I was like, "Okay," and then 5 minutes later, "Don't do this," and then I'm like, "Oh, fuck this guy," and I stood up and I walked out of the theater because I was so fucking tired of. But yeah, looking at his uh his resume here, yeah, Maze Runner is kind of what brought him to prominence. But man, the outfit is fun, and what I love about is Johnny Flynn as one of your antagonists. Looks like he's just having the time of his life, having a blast being the bad guy in this movie, and he is just chewing up the scenery left and right. I love Johnny Flynn in this movie. I love Mark Rylance in this movie. Whatever he's doing in the bones and all, whack. This movie, however, is amazingly official. I loved it. And it's just one of those, it just moves 105 minutes. There's a twist every like 15, 20 minutes, some new wrinkles, some new bit of information. So stylishly produced all the way down to the production design. The tailor shop looks great. The costuming is amazing. And just how Graham Moore and the cinematographer moves the camera throughout. It's so well done. I'm so interested to see what he does next.
I keep meaning to ask my dad, and depending on when we wrap this, maybe I'll give him a call, because my dad, for those of you that don't know, is a clothier. He is
Yeah.
third generation. He doesn't do the tailoring, but he sells men's clothes, and he can, he can measure you, mark you, do all that kind of shit. And I wanted to ask him about that. But before we move forward, I've heard so many people talk about Mark Rylance's performance in Bones and All,
It's a
and
choice.
how you say it's a choice, and I had no problem with it. And so many people were like, it's a choice, and so over this and so over that. I watched a documentary as part of Slam Dance coverage called Sweetheart Deal.
Yeah.
It focuses on four sex workers in Seattle, Washington,
Oh man.
who there's a guy by the name of Elliot who had a van on Aurora Avenue, and he would provide meals, a place to rest, whatever else for these women that are working the strip. And eventually they're betrayed by him. This dude was fucking Mark Rylance's character in Bones and All.
Yeah. Just like that,
Yeah.
that weird kind of delivery
The
and
the
look,
way
or
that the sort of the way that he spoke, the tone and intonation, his long hair and the way that he kept it, the rings on his fingers, I kept being like, okay, I don't it this happened a couple of years ago. Maybe Mark found out about it and looked at you. Everybody was like, he's so weird, and I didn't have a problem with it. But then I watched this movie, and I looked at Crystal afterwards. She didn't watch it with me, but I looked at her afterwards and was like, fucking Bones and All. That's where this guy. Shit, it's just creepy as hell.
there's at least one person on this earth out of the 7 billion that Mark Ryan's can be like, see, I told you, motherfuckers.
I had
But
no
yeah,
problem with that.
yeah, the outfit, man. I do believe it is on a streaming service. I forget whose. I rewatched it to see if it would make my top 10. It just barely missed that list. So it's out there on a streaming service, maybe Peacock. It
And on home
is,
video.
and
I
on
believe
home
it's on
video.
home
I
video.
while you were talking about your prostitute harboring friend there, I added it to my wish list on Amazon.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that film is number 31 on my list.
Yeah. Was that a cinnamon challenge that I gave you? I can't remember. Or did you just watch that?
Let me see.
Not that
Because I
important.
usually tag those. No, I watched it on my own.
Right on. Right on. Cool, 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 cool. What is your third choice there, sir?
My third is ranked 21 on my list. It's a film that is listed as having come out in 2019, but it didn't get distribution in the States, as I recall, until 2022. It is a film from Laos. It's directed by Matty Doe. It is called The Long Walk. It is a film that I saw, and I came on to the Cinnamon first opportunity, raved about it.
Sir, we're the cinnamon.
Yes, I said I came on the Cinnamon,
Oh, okay.
and I
I see
raved
what you're
about it.
saying. I see what you're saying now.
I attended a recording of our show where we
That's
talk about
a
movies,
weird thing to say about a
and
show
I
that you were
raved
the
about it.
host of.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I did appear, and I spoke on it. It's available. It's sold.
Fun
You
with
can
you.
you can rent it. I don't know if it's available for just general streaming or if you have to either rent or buy it from like Amazon, iTunes, etc. But I'd recommend, if you like a good sort of supernatural horror thriller that probably won't go the way that you expect, just buy it. It's available from Vinegar Syndrome. Sometimes they do movies on sale for like $10. I didn't realize that, so I just bought it when they had a regular sale along with a couple other films.
Vinegar.
Yeah, I know. I found out they were doing their $10 sale with Tragedy Girls, and I was like, because I spent like 20 on it. Anyway,
Bro,
still worth it.
speaking of which, it is well known on the onlines that my favorite anime
Mhm.
TV show
Mhm.
to exist is Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Mhm.
And for the longest, you could not find that for American Blu-ray players. Like it just didn't exist. And Arrow came out of nowhere, and they were like, "We have Neon Genesis Evangelion on Blu-ray that works in your Region One Blu-ray player." And I was like, "That's Star-Lord finally." $230. And I was like, I will pay this $230. I saw this on Amazon for $50 the other day, and I was so fucking mad.
I am so confused right now.
What are you
Shout
confused
released that.
Shout? Or
Yeah.
at mine. I was just holding it earlier today. I don't know where I put it at.
I know where my copy is.
Of Evangelion?
Yeah.
You have Evangelion?
Excuse me.
Excuse me.
I'm going to take a long walk.
We have gone to get our respective discs. I questioned him in question. Okay. This is what I have.
Oh, you got the nice version.
I guess I did. I wish I got the $50 version. Not
you very much. There. Okay. Hold on a minute. I know we're deviating and going a little longer. Sorry, everybody, while Daryl and I have a private conversation amongst you. But I can answer this very quickly. For some reason, the Shout website is not loading for me at all. But this was November 2021. They released several editions: the Ultimate Edition, the Collector's Edition, Standard Edition, and Download to Own. So download would be the complete series. How is it pronounced? Evangelion, Death True Squared, and the end of Evangelion. That was Download to Own. The Standard Edition, which I believe I have, is everything I said plus 5 hours of bonus features. You have either the Collector's Edition or the Ultimate Edition. Do you have a 40-page book, or do you have a 156-page book?
It's looking like 40 pages.
I think from the looks of that, I think you have the Collector's Edition. Yeah.
Huh.
Did you get an ID with a lanyard?
No, I didn't get an ID with that. What the fuck?
Okay, then you do not have the Ultimate Edition.
No, these are art cards.
Yes. 8 art cards.
So I have the what? The
collectors.
Well, there you go. All I know is
you have the bonus classic version. You have the bonus classic version.
Yep.
Say it for me again.
Evangelion,
Death True Squared, the end of Evangelion.
Yeah.
You also have the bonus classic version, Neon Genesis Evangelion.
There you go.
Yeah. You have the collector's edition.
All right, I guess
this was being sold G Kids and Shout Factory.
Yeah, so I could have sworn I got mine off of Arrow, but maybe I got off of Shout Factory.
That would be my guess. That would be my guess.
No, you find something new every day. I think I interrupted what you were originally talking about. I'm sorry about
you
that.
were, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine. Deviations, they happen naturally. And I got to flash everyone my Blu-ray.
Who did you flash? This is an audio medium, sir.
Woo! Everybody. The weird thing though is Shout Factory's not loading at all. And unless my internet hasn't crept out, we're having this conversation.
Shout Factory's like they're onto us, burn it all down.
I'm a little nervous. Shout Factory has been really good to me. It's how I get most of my anime.
Yeah, I need to start looking into Shout Factory.
What's that?
I need to start looking into Shout Factory.
Oh yeah, I cover a lot of the G Kids stuff theatrically, and then G Kids deals with Shout, and so they've started sending me their home releases, which you will be getting a challenge from me if you do not watch it this year, specifically for G Kids. You will be watching this movie because not enough people watched Inuo last year, and that upset me. And that's the movie G Kids put up, and I'll be damned if G Kids is going to release Unicorn Wars and you don't watch it.
Oh,
it's going to be fucked up. It's fucked up, man.
do love some good fucked up stuff. But let's
It
get back to our original
you
business here.
we will. You like Full Metal Jacket, right?
I'm a fan of Full Metal Jacket.
You'll
Yes.
enjoy this. It's totally fucked up.
All right, then sold.
Um, Anywho, that is also on my list, Unicorn Wars, but I didn't include it on this one because I've talked about it a
You've
lot, and
talked
it'll get
about it on the
talked about more.
podcast, yes.
Yeah, and it'll get talked about more this year. The Long Walk, I don't think got talked about enough, but it is about the letterbox description is an old Laotian hermit discovers that the ghost of a road accident victim can transport him back in time 50 years to the moment of his mother's painful death. There are elements of this which feel like butterfly effect, that feel like um, where we play with time and how that impacts things.
Mm-hmm.
This it is beautiful and horrifying and disturbing and moving all at once. And I cannot recommend it enough. Particularly if you enjoy horror and you don't mind seeing it through the lens of a different culture and community, track down The Long Walk. You will not be disappointed. It got released by Yellow Veil Pictures, if I remember correctly, and that's how they ended up at Vinegar Syndrome. And Vinegar has some great stuff, by the way, not just like a fantastic 4K release of Roadhouse. I watched that on my birthday. That it looks and sounds so good. But they've also done some standard releases like this that just look fantastic. So
There you go. That's
that is my third film.
one place I rarely go to is Vinegar Syndrome. I do check that out. Right on. My final joint. Talked about it last year. A little bit of Chinese science fiction for you called Guidance. Man, it's one that came out in 2001, was released, I do believe, VOD in 2022. Man, the premise for
It's the
those,
pills, right?
it's the pills,
I
man.
never saw it, but I remember you talking about it.
It is an intriguing, engaging movie for those that didn't listen to that episode of the podcast, man. A brand new pill called Guidance. Is made to enlighten people. You can take this pill and you can find out who is lying to you if you are on this pill. And then the pill itself has various settings. You can choose who is just little white lies and who is big lies. The creator of Guidance is the ex-boyfriend of a woman and her new dude who are taking a little remote vacation out to the middle of nowhere to work on their rocky relationship. And they both take this guidance and things are revealed to each of them. It's a good movie. It's well acted. But man, anyone who knows me knows one thing I'm a sucker for when it comes to filmmaking is that sweet, sweet cinematography. And there are some beautiful shots all throughout this. The place they go to is in the middle of the woods with one of those houses that's just floor to wall windows. And the production design and the cinematography on this is great, which just complements the great acting and an intriguing story and how they use this to this idea of a pill that lets you in on something like people's intimate knowledge to to tell a story. And is there any way to circumvent that? And how are you if you were basically laid bare in front of someone? It is a wonderful movie, 93 minutes, get in, get out. I think you can rent it on iTunes. I think that's the only place it's available right now, but Guidance is a damn fine film.
Right on. I keep meaning to check that out. I'll have to add it to my watch list too.
Yeah, that's one of those joints every once in a while. I'm like, can I buy this somewhere? Is it gonna play on my Region 1 Blu-ray player?
Yeah, I keep looking for a good quality of Old Boy and The Host.
Man, listen, I've been on a quest to get the Vengeance trilogy. I think Kino Lorber did Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. I think there's somewhere you can get Old Boy that'll play in ours. But the third movie, Lady Vengeance, you just not possible. It's all like random bootlegs and whatnot, but you can't find it. And
The
for
good
that
thing,
reason, I have a region free Blu-ray player in my Amazon wish list.
Yeah, I kept looking at one and they were just, I figured I should get a 4K one. This way I can play, if I can get a 4K region free, then that could just be my dedicated 4K player. But to
Uh,
do that, they cost around $1,000. And yeah, I'd use it a lot, but that's some serious,
some serious
that's some
dough right
coin.
there. Some serious dough right there. Some serious
Ki-
dough. But yeah, check out that guidance if you ever get the chance there.
Unless I'm so confused. According to Kino Lorber, Sympathy for Mr. Vengeance is $0 on Vudu, but it also says temporarily out of stock. So how is it out of stock of a Vudu thing? This is
I
like
would
the
just
links.
I
How
would
do we
assume
have not enough links?
I would assume that means it's free with ads on Vudu.
Oh, okay.
Because they do that. It's like if you want to rent it for like $2.99, you can. If you want to buy it for $9.99, or you can watch it free as long as you sit through the ads.
Yeah, you can purchase it through Kino now, rent or purchase, but
Yeah,
there's no physical copy. And
but
I'm sorry,
I
I
have a
want a
physical
physical copy.
copy.
I want one.
Are they saying the physical copy's out of stock?
What I did a search for Kino Lorber, and maybe it just took me to the streaming. We're recording, so I wasn't going to do like a
Oh
deep
yeah.
dive
All right.
research.
Good call. Good call. Good call.
Yeah, yeah. So, solid list. I know, having seen 2 out of 3, I need to add guidance because I remember you talking about it and raving about it before, and
Yeah.
you just never checked it out. We have, with some of our deviations, gone a little over our normal time. Would you like to shelve the challenges or push through?
Let's just blow through them real quick fast because mine won't take long.
Fuck you. I
Yep,
take
it won't.
personal offense at that.
It won't take long there, sir.
Well, would you like to go first or would you like me to go first then?
You go first, please.
Okay, since apparently I enjoyed mine.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, I know. I would love to know what that feeling is like.
So
Uh
would I.
oh, god damn. God damn. All right, so keeping with the theme of movies that we feel didn't get enough appreciation, I put forward the idea, since Daryl loved it so much and I had not yet seen it, that I would watch Carrie Williams' Emergency. It premiered, if I remember correctly, it was either Sundance or South by before it got picked up by Amazon Studios. It is a film about 3 friends, 2 young black men and 1 Latino, who are sort of going out for a celebration, or supposed, or thinking that they're going to go out. And when 2 of them come home, they find a passed out, drunk white chick laying on their floor.
It happens.
And you're young, you're on a college campus, and there's a young white girl on your floor, and the others are minorities. Immediately, there's an issue of we got to do the right thing, but how do we do the right thing without ending up a statistic?
Mm-hmm.
And this is a comedy, but when it gets dramatic, it is intense and dramatic. There's some moments in that ending I was holding my fucking breath, and I could see
Mm-hmm.
where people found that while incredibly light and humorous, it also struggled to maintain that humor, because while we know that it is a silly situation, quote unquote, that the young girl, she ends up being the underage sister of another student at the school who realizes far too late that her sister's missing. So she tries to track her down, and she sees these boys carrying her seemingly unconscious sister into a car or out of the woods or this, that, and whatever. So it doesn't look good.
Don't look
Doesn't
good.
matter. It doesn't matter what their race is. It doesn't look good. But then when you add the racial component that is existing on top of it, it gets a lot darker too. Although I have to hand it to the ending, like the actual ending, when
When kind of like the next day or
yeah,
a
the
couple
next
days
day,
later,
that part,
man, that
and they're
shot right
partying,
there, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
and you know what, maybe it's racist of me to say, and I'll own it if it is, but at the beginning of the movie, the 2 boys, when we meet them, one of them is played by RJ Seiler, who has been in films like he was the Blue Ranger in Power Rangers. He was also fantastic. I forget the name of his character in The Harder They Fall. He'd also worked with this director in R Loves J, which was Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
And then another young man, Donald Watkins, who I've seen him in stuff, but I would not have been able to pick him out. The two of them are sitting in a class, and there's a young girl that Kunle, played by Donald
Oh,
Watkins, kind
Watkins.
of
Yeah.
likes.
Hmm.
And afterwards, they're kind of chatting. Yeah, I kept thinking it was her who was chasing after her sister.
Come on, that was.
What? We see her once and then we get introduced to this other white girl. Maybe it was my expectation that by when they, the silliness was going to be this situational comedy of them trying to get away, trying to help and who we're trying to catch. But then she's going to see it's Kunle and his friend and be like, oh. But it ended up being a different white girl who was, drunk. And I'm not going to say racist, but it didn't go well. Like there was a whole lot in that situation where you're protecting your younger sister, you're also a little inebriated. It's been a stressful night. It does not look good. But the other two folks were like, I think you've pushed this too far.
Hmm.
And then of course the cops show up and it escalates. But yeah, I thought it was the same actor, just in different makeup and different whatever. So yeah, on me, college white girls look the same.
Terrible. You're all terrible there, Douglas. Shout out to the roommate that was with him, the Middle Eastern dude. He brought his own flair and flavor to it that I really enjoyed. He's the sweet tenderness of the movie that I really liked.
You're
Man.
talking about Sebastian, is it Chacon who played Carlos? Who was
Yes.
just like, come on, I got granola bars. Why won't anybody eat my granola bars?
Yeah, yeah, that guy. I love his performance. The well-meaning to do dude who just wants to try to do the right thing and please everybody. The movie you gave me is Glorious. Came out last year in the
Yeah,
spirit
it
of
is.
underrated movies, directed by Rebecca McKendry. It is about a dude played by that cat from True Blood.
Mhm.
Um, winds up after a nasty breakup. He's at a rest stop.
Mhm.
Um, and due to the circumstances of this breakup, he's not taking it well. He decides while he's at this rest stop that he's just gonna get drunk and get
Mhm.
drunk that he does and passes out. And the next day he goes to the rest stop's bathroom to purge his insides of all said liquor. And then that's when things go left after that door will not open back up to the outside world again. And you find out in one of those stalls, there is some kind of being there with the glory hole to the other stall. And you find out that this other being is asking for the assistance of this individual named Wes to do things. And it is boy, is that a movie. That is a movie.
That's okay. Okay. You're underselling it just a little bit. By the way, real quick, Emergency streaming on Amazon, Glorious streaming on Shutter. So you can go check
Yeah,
out these
you can check
films.
out both of these jobs.
J.K. Simmons is the voice of the creature in the other fucking stall, by the way.
Yeah, just getting
So
paid to
they
show
are
up to the booth.
farmers. Bumper, bum, 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 bum.
The words. Commissioner Gordon is there in the other stall. Uh, and yeah, it's just all about this being that's kind of forcing Wes to look back and evaluate who he is as a person, the choices he's made, the things he's done.
Mhm.
A little bit of growth and development coming out of that character before he makes this decision to help this being or not help this being do what they are asking him to do. Didn't really click with me. Didn't quite get there for me. Interesting premise, but I just couldn't connect with it.
All right. All right. You continue, and then I'm going to put forward an argument.
All right, then. Yeah, it makes no logical sense as to why he would stay in that bathroom as long as he does before he realizes he can't get out. Like, how many people are just standing at the sink having full ass conversations with people in the stall before they realize, that was a little bit too weird. So I found that a little bit implausible. Yeah, I just couldn't fully get on board with it. There's a couple of moments of humor in there, but all in all, the acting wasn't quite doing it for me. The direction was fairly decent, pretty good, but the story overall just couldn't pull me in, sir.
That is fair. My biggest problem with this movie is the actor Andre Lamar. He plays a guy named Gary, who I think is overseeing the rest stop.
Your
He's
biggest
the
problem is the
only
motherfucker's got 5 minutes in the movie.
he only black character, fucking straight up. Okay, spoilers. Just spoilers. Only black character gets murdered.
Gets
I have a bit
clapped.
of a problem with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You were
Yeah.
correct. Only a black guy gets murdered. Yeah.
So here's my argument
Hmm.
is that, and again, spoilers, if you haven't seen the movie, just thanks for listening to the Cinnamon.
We'll be back
Come
in
back
two
next week.
weeks. Yeah.
What I dug about this movie is particularly as you keep going, you find out that Wes is a piece of shit murdering son of a bitch.
Hmm.
Okay. And that this is something he's done repeatedly.
Hmm.
And he finds himself, and we don't discover this until the end. So we keep thinking he's a sympathetic character who's
Hmm.
going up against a nihilistic force, son of Cthulhu,
Yeah.
whose destiny is to destroy this universe, except he believes that it is a universe worth saving. And with Wes's help, he can transcend and leave this universe alone and go fuck off somewhere else.
Hmm.
And he doesn't have to worry about what his father wants from him, and he won't destroy the world. Everything will be great. So this sacrifice is of something that recognizes that his whole purpose for being is to destroy everything, sees something optimistic, and requires a sacrifice to make it happen. And who does he make that requirement of? The piece of shit asshole that destroys every good thing that he has continuously. Just this murdering piece of shit. This is not, I thought, a bit of redemption. I just thought it was literally him getting our man Wes finally realizing, oh, I am a piece of shit and
Hmm.
I deserve this. And if I do anything good in my life, it's getting rid of this thing who won't destroy anybody. So it's not redemptive. It's him recognizing that he's a piece of shit and that it's one piece of shit going, hey, you're a piece of shit too, but I can use you to get the fuck out of here and save everybody else. We'll do one good thing here. So I loved that. I also love the fact that Wes, just like everybody else, presumed the glory hole was meant for him to stick his dick in it.
Yeah, what are
And
you
JK
doing?
was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Unfortunately, that wasn't a huge turn or surprise or reveal for me. The you get a little bit of that him trying to call the old lady, her not picking up, and Leslie's like piece of shit, and I'm like, yep. And then when that reveal happens, and you're like, well, yep, is what it is. But I will say that the one thing that I did enjoy about this movie
Mhm.
is the very end, where he was like, I'm a hero, and J.K. Simmons is like, no, no, heroes get remembered. You're just a piece of shit guy who's gonna die here at this gas station. So that I appreciated. It was just the
Yes.
other 74 minutes leading to that that I was just like,
Man,
well, it's a movie. I'll watch it.
I keep trying. I keep trying. I know. But you know what? At least you're watching movies you might not have seen otherwise. I know I am. I know I am.
That's the whole point of the challenge. Quote Winstead from earlier today. What do you mean he gave it 4.5 stars? But it's
And I stand by it. I
stand
keep
by
waiting
it.
for because Shutter will sometimes do physical releases of their movies. I'm waiting for them to release it so that I can be like, "Hey, it's Halloween. Let's get weird."
Mhm. Okay, well, that is a movie to get weird to, sir.
Yeah.
Do you have anything before we wrap this bad boy up?
If you stuck around this long and the spoilers that we gave for Glorious still make you interested, check it out. Let us know what you think. This isn't a right or wrong because neither of us are right or wrong. I know what I like. Daryl knows what he likes. And for all we know, in a year or two, he might change his mind and I might change mine. So let us know what you think if you end up checking it out as well. Same thing with Emergency. Same thing with Emergency. And RJ is really fantastic when that actor shows up and
Fucking
stuff.
fantastic. He's hilarious all throughout. When they have that big emotional breakdown at the end, I thought that scene was so well done.
Mm-hmm.
What they did with the wall at the very end is so good. But yeah. Yeah, no
I keep
rice.
meaning to
No,
rewatch The Harder They Fall because he's super good in that too.
I think he's with the bad guys, right? He's with Idris
Hmm.
Elba's gang.
Hmm.
No, he's one of the good
Wait,
guys.
wait, hold on a minute. Here we go.
Who
Another
does
wait.
the chick in the gang draw down on? I thought
No, no, because he's the quick shot who's going up against Lakeith's character. I'm pulling my memory back from 20, is that
he's the quick
2021?
shot who goes through all the pomp and circumstance and just immediately gets shot in the face or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
Yes.
on the good guys team.
Yes. Look, Keith Stanfield was on the bad guys team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes through all that and
And
just clapped.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. God, that movie is so good.
so good.
Yeah. Here's a photo for my review. There's Jonathan Majors, Delroy, and RJ Seiler.
Boom, done, done, and done.
Jonathan Majors. Whew.
Man
He's going to
Candy
have a big year.
himself.
In all seriousness, he's having a big year between the movie that just premiered at Sundance, which mixed reviews on the film, his performance across the board fantastic is what I'm hearing. And
Right
then of
on.
course Ant-Man is coming out and he apparently dominates there as well. Or
And
according
then
to the Paprika crew, can dominate anyone in that crew.
damn right. And of course, Creed 3 as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's fucking Jesus. He's hitting it. January Sundance, February Ant-Man, March
March, Creed
Creed
3.
is or do we get a break? Is
He
there
can
something
take
coming out in
April through
April or May?
December and then just sit back and rest on his laurels.
Jesus.
Yeah. All right, that is
The
it for
FYC press tour starts in April. Jesus.
that's it for this episode 80 of the Cinnamon Man. We'll be back hopefully in about 2-ish weeks for you to talk some more stuff. Until then, you all take it easy and have
Watch movies.